Thank you very much. Oh, no, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on our beautiful planet Earth, there are many creatures yet to be discovered. Here tonight, on The Conrad Show, is Professor Reed Alston to speak of one of those creatures.
Thanks, hi, how's it going? Yeah, hey.
Welcome, Professor.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So, what exactly are you studying?
Well, we're studying the pat, which was an animal that was discovered a few months ago. And we've been following it around with a video camera and filming its social tendencies.
Sounds interesting. Let's roll the film. Ah!
The pat animal is a solitary creature, spending much of its time alone. It spends most of its time in this curled up position. Its back shields it very well from the sun, and it can keep cool this way. Much of its time is spent doing menial, tedious, repetitive tasks. As you can see here, it is attempting to make a burrow. The fact that it's trying to make it in steel leads us to believe that it isn't the most intelligent of the primates, but nonetheless is up there among sheep, llamas, and stiff-legged goats. The pat spends a lot of time in its burrows storing food. After a long day of work, it will come down and search under many things for this stored food. When we first started out, we wanted to get some up-close and personal footage with the pat. However, it proved difficult because of its known aggression.
Sick!
My colleague, after confronting it in its native language, was nearly attacked, and we had to bring in a new means of videotaping the life of this creature. Despite being a temperamental creature, the pat has the envied ability to be able to concentrate on any task with a dedication which is marveled by many. As you can see here, despite the presence of a attractive female counterpart, he remains extremely focused and determined at the task of hand. This is something to be admired of the pat. As you can see, he is playing a strategic game against a larger, older male in a possible attempt to try and prove his worthiness. It is possible that he is aware of the presence of the female, but is pretending not to so as to distract his opponent. Of course, he just got beaten and is distraught at this moment. Because the mating rituals of the pat have never been understood very well by many biologists, as myself, we wanted to get some very in-depth footage, very close footage, very risky footage too, of what the pat does in the presence of females. This would be, of course, when he's not paying attention to something, so when he's actually trying to impress or attract the opposite sex. And so we went into the pat's territory, very extremely close to its burrow, and we got some pretty good video. Right now, I am in an obscured area right behind the pat here. He's right here working one of his menial, tedious tasks, and I have to be very careful because it is mating season, and he is right next to a mate, and is very aggressive at this point. Any type of interaction is extremely risky, so we gotta keep our distance. The lying down type of stance that the Pat's taking right now is displaying its willingness to mate. As you can see, it is observing its mate right now, obviously believing that if they were to have offspring, it would be a good choice. Unfortunately, this attempt has seemed to arouse little interest from the opposite sex.
I've been studying the Pat for several years now. I've made many observations of his habitat and his different ways of marking his territory, which are very unique. He sprays pheromones over everything that he comes in contact with to show other animals that his territory is well defined in this region of Concordia. The Pat is a very dangerous animal and should never be approached. I myself have had a couple run-ins with the Pat, and they were very close to being not very pleasant. Pat often observes his immediate surroundings. A good every 10 minutes or so, he will pop out from his burrow, look around, observe the area for other predators or competitors, and then go back down.
One of the reasons that the Pat is so well adapted to surviving in its environment is the fact that it's intelligent enough to wear protective clothing to shield itself from environmental factors, such as eyewear is worn most of the time outside of its burrow to protect its eyes from the sun, and ear covers are worn to protect its ears from the loud noises made during its menial tasks. And also body armor has been seen to be worn, especially during the mating season when combat with other males is very frequent. So by the end, I was really happy to have worked with the Pat. I was really knowledgeable about all the stuff that it does, and I think, you know, in conclusion, it is an animal to be marveled, to be respected, and I hope to keep on trekking, keep on researching it, because, you know, it's an animal of the planet.